Hello! Video games. I've played a lot of them. But where did it all start? Let's find out. My gaming career started on one of these bad boys. And on this PC I played a lot of edutainment games. Let's start with the Humongous Entertainment point-and-click adventure games. These games have amazing voice acting, animations and sound effects that hold up to this day. The first one I remember playing was Putt Putt Saves the Zoo. My favorite part in this game was playing ice hockey against the ice bear. The second Putt Putt game I played was Putt Putt Travels Through Time. It was very cool to use items through different time periods, like getting a ball in the prehistoric era, which can be traded for your lunchbox in a museum in the future. You also had this weird back scratch minigame.
Yes. Yes. Oh. Ah. Oh, yes. Oh, that's it. Oh, now I can relax.
But my favorite Putt Putt game was Putt Putt Enters the Race. My parents made the mistake of buying this game for me while on vacation, so the whole vacation I just wanted to get home to play this game. And man, I loved it. I played the race minigame at the end so many times, and it was surprisingly difficult when I replayed it recently. I also enjoyed the Freddy Fish games and even more so the Pajama Sam games, which had even more humor and iconic characters like Otto.
Would you give me a ride across the river?
Oh no! I can't go in the water, I'd sink. I'm made of wood, you know.
But wood floats.
No, I don't think so. I had this friend and he told me this story about his dentist brother who, he was made of wood and he got in the water and he sank.
Really?
Other point-and-click adventure games I had were the Junior Detective series, also known as Clue Finders. These games had a way bigger focus on the education part of edutainment, with puzzles that were basically school exercises. But it didn't make them less enjoyable.
Do you believe in monsters?
The Skipper and Skeeto games were also a favorite of mine, especially the first game. This one is pretty similar to the Humongous Entertainment games when it comes to gameplay. I also really liked the fourth game in the Skipper and Skeeto series, which had some cool 3D movement and environments. Skipper and Skeeto 3 also had these environments, but it didn't look nearly as good and this game was buggy as fuck. The Mew Monteur games, also known as Gary Gadget, were great edutainment games as well. In one you had to build a car, one you had to build a boat, and in one you had to build a rocket ship. The fun part was that you got to control the vehicles you made, and you needed to build them in a certain way to complete quests. The unfun part was that the vehicles were quite annoying to control. The last two edutainment games I want to mention were only available in Dutch. The Olfies was a free game that came with a magazine. The Olfies are creatures that like all things that humans think are disgusting, like shit being thrown into their face.
Ja, lekker Olfies.
But I don't like nice stuff like perfume. This made for a fun point-and-click adventure and the minigames also were great.
Stinkende zweetsokken. Ik heb gewonnen!
Red Cat is an orange cat that had a lot of Dutch edutainment games. In one of them the actual Dutch queen gets a gun pointed to her head by a smoking dog. But the one I loved the most was Red Cat and the Snelle Sommerreis, which combined the two coolest things in life, racing and math. What more could you want? Well, Lego games. I owned Lego Loco, a sandbox game in which you could build your own city and train network. You could also make postcards, but my favorite thing in this game was to let trains crash. Wow, that was underwhelming. I owned Lego Creator. I remember not understanding how this game works when I played it as a kid, and after playing it again, I still don't. The Lego game I played the most was Lego Racers. Everything about this game was cool. The intro, the character creation, the car building, the racing itself, overpowered power-ups, the music, the sound effects, and the cool bosses. Especially the final boss, Rocket Racer. the only boss to use the full charge green brick power-up, which made the race against him very challenging, and beating him did give that euphoric feeling like beating a boss in Elden Ring. I also had another LEGO racing game, LEGO Stunt Rally, a top-down racing game in which you don't actually need to steer. It's more about staying on the track by not going too fast through corners. It also had Mr. X, who explains everything.
Click here if you want to enter the Stunts Rally. Just click on the flashing. Click here to change your character. Click on the blue race button. Let the computer choose a car for you. Click here to change your car tires.
LEGO Island is the first open-world LEGO game, and this game had a lot of charm. It had some cool races, but the most iconic part of the game for me is this song.
Mamma, Papa, Briccolini will not cook you nor linguine. Don't you know we specialize in one thing, that's the pizza pie.
What was even better than LEGO Island 1 was LEGO Island 2. I have so many good memories about this game. Traveling to different islands, jousting against the Dark Knight.
Hey, Mr. Black Knight, are you okay?
The fishing minigame I could never get past. And this guy saving you when you walk on the train tracks. I also had the sequel to LEGO Island 2, LEGO Extreme Stunts. This game was bigger with more stuff to do, but it never had the same charm to me as the second game. When you've had one of these bad boys, you know they come preloaded with games. It had Solitaire, fun and easy to understand with the bouncing cards at the end. It had Minesweeper, harder to understand but fun when you do. It had Hearts. I never understood the rules, but I still played it. And it had Space Cadet Pinball, a phenomenal pinball game with the best sound effects. I also liked going full tilt for some reason. My first FIFA game was FIFA 2004. I always played on a low difficulty, so I never lost a match. I also used to play with a joystick, not because it was practical, but I had a joystick, so I used the joystick. Later I also got FIFA 2005, which had some cool new stock images added. I sure hope these games aren't the beginning of a FIFA addiction in the future. Rollercoaster Tycoon 1 and 2 were something completely different. There were so many cool ways to build your own park. You even had the ability to build attractions yourself. Furthermore, I remember treating not every visitor in a good way. Toy Story 2 was my Mario 64, a 3D platformer in which you collect Pizza Planet tokens by getting coins, doing races, fighting bosses and more. This game really made me feel like Buzz Lightyear. Toy Story 2 on PC, however, had a bug in a fight against Zurg. For some reason he moves too fast, so you can't hit him like you're supposed to. However, me and my friend, after a lot of dying, somehow found a way to defeat him. You had to back Zurg into a specific corner, charge your spinning move, jump against Zurg, bounce back and do this many times. All while not falling down too many times, which is insanely difficult. I have no idea how we figured it out on that age, but I still consider it one of my biggest gaming achievements. Now it's time for a new segment.
Is in het ziekenhuis terechtgekomen.
There were two PC games that were terrifying to me as a kid. One of them was a Dutch game, Bas the Beer. First of all, the villain in this game, translated Captain Pointy Head, was messed up. But what screwed with me the most was that if you fail the minigame, the game instantly ends with Bas the Beer in the hospital.
Jammer, jammer.
Helaas, het is niet gelukt. Bas is in het ziekenhuis terechtgekomen.
And in my mind there also was a game where he actually died if you failed the minigame. It was insane and it scared the shit out of me.
Bas de Beer.
You might have noticed that I mentioned Skipper and Skido 1, 3 and 4, but not number 2. This is because that game is fucked up. It takes place in a scary castle of Mr. Shade, but the most screwed up thing about that game is that it is a point and click adventure with an action limit. And if you go over the action limit, this instantly happens. It's fucked up. I never managed to beat this game and I never will. At some point in my life I was gifted a Game Boy with 4 games. I had the Smurfs in French. This game was insanely difficult, so I didn't really smurf this one. I had Super Mario Land and Donkey Kong Land, which were fun, but too difficult for me at the time. And I had Tetris, which I really liked. The easy to understand gameplay combined with the great soundtrack made this basically the only game I played on my Game Boy.
Boom! Tetris for Jeff!
In the meantime I was still playing a lot of PC games. One genre I really enjoyed were racing games. I had a game called Excessive Speed, which me and my friend called Small Car Racing, because 8-year-old kids cannot say the word excessive. This game was a blast and pretty difficult, especially the levels in which you blow up if you touch a wall. Midtown Madness was really cool because you could do races with the bus. And Motocross Madness 2, which is related to Midtown Madness I now realize, had one cool thing. When you ride to the end of the map, this happens. I don't think I ever did anything else in this game. Trackmania was another solid racing game with 4 different types of vehicles which all controlled differently. There also were these types of corners where you don't have to steer, which we used to call sexy corners. I guess because of the curves? Need for Speed 2 had an amazing open world with cool secret shops to find, and it also had fun drifting events. But Need for Speed Most Wanted was probably my favorite racing game. It had some great over-the-top cutscenes.
I want every single unit after the guy.
Everyone?
It had Mia.
Get in.
It had a cool blacklist system. The racing was fast and furious. Did I mention Mia? It had an amazing soundtrack. And it had some amazing cup chases. The longer the chase, the more rewards, but also the more difficult it would be to get away, which led to some tense, high-risk, high-reward gameplay. I also kept playing FIFA. The next FIFA game I owned was FIFA 07. In this game you could make your own team with your own players, and you could enable funny sound effects. FIFA 09 added more celebrations. FIFA 10 improved the career mode even more. And FIFA 12 had this intro screen, in which it looks like Rooney is missing part of his leg. Another completely different game I enjoyed was The Sims Deluxe. I loved building houses, using cheats, woohooing, and doing some ethically questionable stuff. Holy shit, this is brutal. How did this not traumatize me? The Age of Empire games were the only games my dad played, which made me want to play it too. So I did. At a very young age I started playing this English RTS game. And it was super cool. I have some very fond memories of playing this co-op with my dad. And some bad memories hearing this. Age of Empires 2 was the game I played the least of the series, although this game did have some cool city siege missions which I did on repeat. Age of Empires 3 however was another step up. You could play as the Dutch, which had some great voice lines.
Ja, jagen, handelaar.
Commando? Ja? Juist.
You could blast away units using your cannons. Buildings collapsed in a cool way. You could collect treasures, and playing this co-op was a lot of fun too. I was gifted a DS Lite and I played on it a lot. For some reason I spent a bunch of time on PictoChat, even though there's not that much to do. I trained my brain with my boy Dr. Kawashima. In the Big Brain Academy I used to love the logic puzzles with the scales. And at some point in my life I've made it part of my personality that I'm great at logic puzzles, just because I was great at this one logic puzzle. I had Nintendogs in which I had a dog called Lucky. He was the best. It makes me sad I must have abandoned him someday. So he's probably alone on a cartridge somewhere, waiting for the time I come back. Anyway, I also had Mario games. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games had some amazing 3D graphics which blew my mind when I first saw it. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games had a great story mode, which basically made it into a full-blown RPG game. New Super Mario Bros. Had this cool big mushroom. Mario Party had some dumb microphone minigames, making you blow like a lunatic at your DS. Furthermore, I love the minigames Get the Lead Out and Cucumber Jacks. Mario Kart DS was a great racing game, and being able to play with friends that didn't own the game was amazing. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl and Platinum were the first Pokemon games I played. I couldn't read English at the time, so I had to do everything by trial and error, which meant I got stuck a lot, but I did beat it after a few years. Seeing the ads for Pokemon Ranger on TV made me very hyped for this game, but when I actually played it, I realized it was just drawing circles around Pokemon. This was the first time I was very disappointed by a game. I also played some games more aimed at girls, like Imagine Teacher, in which you had to teach 4 students. I wasn't a great teacher because I clearly played favorites. I treated Dean like shit while giving all my attention to Jeremy and Louise. In Pony Friends I learned the hard way what the word donating meant, after donating my favorite pony away. But I also played some manly games on my DS. Explosions! Fuck yeah! I played GTA Chinatown Wars so much that I still remember the cheat code to decrease the wanted level. I also scratched a lot of scratch cards, and I mean a lot. My friends and I after school could just sit in the same room and just scratch cards all day. I'm glad this didn't turn into a gambling addiction. Another game we played multiplayer was GoldenEye Rogue Agent. There was just one map, but playing a first-person shooter against friends for the first time was a blast. One day my parents were buying a new car, and I was with them playing games on my Nintendo DS during the price negotiation. The slick car dealer saw that and he had a brilliant trick up his sleeve. He put a brand new Nintendo Wii on the table as a gift that would come with the car. Let's just say, after seeing my face, my parents couldn't refuse the deal anymore. The Wii came with Wii Sports, which I already made a whole video about, so I will keep it short. It's good. The same holds for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. It's good. And for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. It's good. But my favorite Wii game was Mario Kart Wii. It's fun to play alone because the AI puts up a good challenge. And it's even more fun to play split screen with friends. It also blew my mind back then that I was playing online against people on the other side of the world. The last games I had on my Wii were Wii Fit and Wii Fit Plus. I never did the yoga exercises, but the mini games were fun. My family had a pretty good battle at the time for the ski jumping world record.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's time again.
Is in het ziekenhuis terechtgekomen.
When Black Ops 1 came out, I watched a friend play zombies, and I remember sitting there scared, looking at the screen like this. I never had any friends that played Pokemon, so I could never complete the decks and catch them all. So when I found an NPC that was gonna trade me a Haunter, which evolves when it gets traded, I was very excited. I trade my Medicham and received the Haunter, but then...
Haha. Did my Haunter turn into something else? Just kidding. I made it hold something that prevents it from evolving. Insert evil laugh here.
There's a reason a subreddit with 25,000 members exists solely to hate on this one NPC. When I was 11, I bought Minecraft after seeing someone play it. I watched YouTubers to learn the game.
Stop met je reet.
And I introduced it to 2 of my friends separately. Both had the same reaction after playing it for the first time. This game looks terrible, but the next time I saw them, they both had played on their own and had gotten addicted. One had built a giant castle next to the ugly tower I made, making me feel embarrassed. And the other one had found a rare mushroom island. This was just the beginning of many hours playing this game. One of those friends around the same time introduced me to Skyrim, and my first reaction was, this is for nerds. But when I started playing, exploring a random dungeon, I got stuck in a wall. But when I loaded the previous save and continued, I discovered that it was really cool. And I came to realize there would be countless amazing games waiting to be discovered in the future.
Yeah.
If you want to, let me know your favorite or oldest gaming memory.
Bye bye.